going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're out there on YouTube, and also rate the show 5 stars everywhere that you get your podcast. Bears fans, what a win. The Chicago Bears dominate the Philadelphia Eagles 24-15, and it's one of those games that we've been kind of calling for. A statement win, a game that you win on the offense, that you win on the defense, that you win on the special teams. The special teams was better. And we came out there and dominated. And that it was a great, great win. And I'll just say it off the bat, because we like to kind of go through the grades. This is an A. This is an A game that you saw. This is a team win, and you just saw this team play great. And that's what you want to see. That's exactly what you want to see. Now, even then, like I was texting some people as we're like watching the game, and a lot of people are like, this feels like the Bears should have been up 24-3 at halftime. So the fact that they were able to capitalize, end up still winning, this was a big game. Huge, huge, huge game. 9-3 sounds so good. Let's see what's out there. We got Drax out there. Yes, I won my bet. So that felt very, very good. So I had that. I also had a Monangai anytime touchdown. That felt great too. Normally I never bet anytime touchdowns, but there's so many people doing it. I'm like, what's $10? Like, let's just have a little fun. So when you got in there, I was like, there we go. We got Joe out there. Bear down. We got T-Dub. Bear down, everybody. But this was big. Like we said, when we look at the stats, Bears end up putting only 144 passing yards on them, but 281 rushing yards. Insane. And the thing that's like ironic, my son and I, my 5-year-old and I, he now likes to play Madden. So we'll play the Madden game right before. And this is actually kind of what happened in our game. We ran the ball for like 300 yards. We only passed for 150. So it was like the exact same outcome, which was just kind of ironic. But still, the Bears were great. And this is another game, only 4 penalties. Now, there's a couple just dumb ones out there, like Jervon Dexter with the late hit and just like a little false start. But just think about where this team came from. You're talking about a team that was 0-2, where what? The stats was no team has ever gotten those 2 losses in the division and made the playoffs. Now, we are not in the playoffs. We have a 78% chance to make the playoffs. You still have to finish the job. But man, this just feels good. This is where, early Christmas present, just make it feel good. Making it feel awesome that the Bears end up winning this. This was just big. We ended up turning the ball over with an interception, but we were able to turn the ball over twice against them. And this is a team that did not turn the ball over. And 2, this is a very good defense. We talked about that. This is a team that only let up 1 5-yard on average. It was one rusher that was able to get 4 yards a carry on them over the past, 6 weeks. And that was just Javonte Williams. He was the only lead rusher that could do that. The Bears were like, you know what? We're going to just keep running the ball on you. And I'm glad that they did, because I do want to just get this out of the way so we can keep on celebrating. Let's talk a little bit about the passing game. And then we'll kind of talk a little bit more, because the passing game was negative, was not great. And I'm actually just kind of, in general, curious what people kind of thought about. Let me just ask, how would you grade the offense? Let me see. How would you grade the offense? Let's see. How would have this out here? And actually, I'm not going to go through the passing. I'm not going to, because we're going to vibe. We're going to mellow out like slowly but surely. And then we'll talk about it. I ain't going to do it yet. We ain't going to talk about it. We're just going to talk about this running game. We're going to say, how do we feel about this offense? And we're going to kind of talk about that and just enjoy it. The run game, an absolute A+. We got Phillip out there. Man, it was so good. And so let's kind of flip over to this. Here, we'll skip the pass. J2K, what's good, my friend? But let's see. So with this offense, if we look at this offensive performance overall, Come on, screen, do stuff. There we go. So, on the ground, Kyle Monangai, 5.9 yards a carry, 22 carries. Also, I just want to throw this out there. He's the guy that got the carries at the very end of the game. And then you have DeAndre Swift, 18 carries, 125 yards, averaging 6.9 nice yards per carry. Just crazy game on the ground. And also, too, I really like the little end arounds that they were running with DJ Moore, with Luther Burden, and the little shovel passes that they did, too, just to kind of keep them honest and kind of just spread out the defense. It felt like every time that Ben Johnson knew that Vic Fangio was like kind of playing very short in the middle, he's like, all right, then what we'll do, we'll stretch you out. We'll do it this way, and we'll just kind of throw you off. And one of my favorite things that they included was just the QB sneak with Caleb Williams. That play call is something that that they saw on tape, and they went, you know what we can do? Let's do this. And then credit to Joe Tooney. Because also too, Prime Vision, for those that haven't done this, I hope everyone knew this or everyone did this. If not, if you have Amazon Prime, rewatch the game with Prime Vision. It is the best because Prime Vision will show you all the routes. It'll also kind of do it like a Madden angle. It's amazing. That's how I watched the game. It was fun because it felt like I was watching a lot of the All-22, and it felt like I didn't need to as much. I tried to rewind and watch as much as I could. But yeah, it was great. And one of the things I saw there was Joe Tooney, just the way that he was able to block him out. Great stuff, but it was something that the Bears must have seen so that they were able to call out so that Caleb could just do a quick QB sneak and get 3 yards wide open. So great stuff from that perspective. And yeah, just the running game. And I want to give credit with Swift. And we talked about this in the preview, that Swift has a switch. He has if he's confident, he runs like he did. And just with him running it, you just saw him. I felt like he was finding some of the holes phenomenally, but it was what he was doing after the ball was in his hands, like what he did after the carries, what he did after contact, which I thought was the most impressive because he was breaking tackles. Every time that he touched the ball, it was like, okay, he's doing something. And Monangai is just a solid workhorse type of guy. He does not, like you see, the 7th round speed where he's not going to break out and then take it to the house. But the man is just going to find a great hole. He's going to find the hole. He's going to plow forward, and he's just going to keep moving. And the thing that it feels like is we didn't see him use as much power at the very beginning of the year. And now he's like, all right, you know what? I'm going to smack you in the face. I'm going to keep on doing what I did from Rutgers and keep pushing this on you. And the fact that this is the first time, or the first time since the 1985 Bears that we've had 2 100-yard rushers, just crazy, just absolutely crazy, phenomenal, especially since these were people like the betting lines, speaking of betting lines, like Kyle Monangai was projected to, they had the line at 34 yards. They had DeAndre Swift at 40. Like they did not expect the Bears to be able to run the ball this way, and let alone almost get 100 yards more than what they were thinking each running back was going to be able to get. So bravo to the running game. You saw them get the ground game going. And also too, just credit also to the big time credit to the offensive line. We saw this too with the offensive linemen. We also saw Ozzie with the start over Theo Bennett, even though Theo is fully healthy. And you know what? I talked about this where Theo, what I saw on tape, I was never super impressed with from the passing game. And there was just little things that weren't great. And then with Ozzie, when I watched the tape, I was like, that game was better than anything that Theo has put on tape. Now, was I like, hey, you have to start Ozzie or anything like that? No, I was like, I expected them to put Theo out there. But I felt like what they showed was that this confidence in Ozzie, and like what Ben Johnson has talked about with Ozzie, he's got this confidence that it's like the not rookie fearsome. And it felt like that's kind of how he felt. Was Ozzie felt like whenever you heard him talk or someone talk about him, or the way he looked in preseason, he looked almost intimidated, where it was like, okay, I'm just a rookie, like kind of like when you're new to a company and you're just like, I don't want to give any idea. Like some people come in and they're like, I don't want to give ideas. I don't want to ruffle feathers. And he seemed like he was very much like that, but he looked good. And just looking at this, yet again on first watch on Prime Vision, he looked great. Only allowed one pressure. And so he's allowed 2 pressures in the past 2 weeks. Going against the Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's good. I think he's fine right now. And that's the piece is this. The dude just looks smooth. And he looks very smooth. Now in the run game, there was a couple times where he's tripping over his feet, and that's what I saw in the film last week. But like the thing that I love is that I feel much more comfortable about this left tackle position than I did 2 weeks ago. Because seeing him last week, I was like, okay, we might actually have something. Like now we don't have to just pray that, 360-pound Caden Proctor is able to drop to us and magically all of a sudden an Alabama offensive lineman actually hits in the draft, because look at just Google or search or Bing, Copilot, right? ChatGPT, offensive linemen, and they're from Alabama, and how successful those tackles are. They're not. They're very much not successful at all, unless they move to the interior. And Alex Leatherwood, for example. So the fact that it feels like we have something, it feels like we got something with this, it's just great. And speaking of the offensive line too, a couple other little nuggets. Obviously there was 2 sacks given up, and yet again, Caleb does get pressured. He got pressured 9 times. 3 were unblocked. 1 was from the left tackle. 1 was from Drew Dahlman. 0 by, Joe Thuney, obviously. And then 2 given up by Jonah Jackson. But even then, PFF still has him charted as a 77.1 PFF grade, which is phenomenal on initial watch. Drew Dahlman with an 80.7 on initial watch. And then right tackle, Darnell Wright with 1, and no pressures from tight ends, no pressures given up by running backs. So my assumption is that one of those is then they're crediting more so to Caleb from the pressure directly. So the other piece that I want to call out with this as well is Darnell Wright didn't even have his best game, what it looked like. Like on the pass, it felt like he gave up more than 1 pressure. I feel like that's maybe they were constituted it as one of the 3 unblocked pressures that ended up coming in, because it just like there's certain situations where Darnell just seemed a little off, but yet again, like he can have these little off games, right? It seems like he just needs a little bit more polish, a little bit more discipline, and then he's just a perennial All-Pro. That's awesome. Because when he's there and when he's blocking, you see what he's able to do. He is a difference maker when it comes down to blocking. And it's just these little tiny things that a true All-Pro just does. And he can learn from a true All-Pro just, a couple spots to the left of him. And, 2 spots and 3 spots to the left of him with Drew Dahlman and Joe Thuney. So to me, man, it just, it feels good. Offensive line was playing great. So offensive line played very, very well. And you're talking about one of the best defensive lines out there. One of the best run stopping, a very, very good run stopping unit. Like we said, when you look at the EPA, they were top 10 in both inside and outside. Just great performance. So let's see what y'all are saying. Let's see what y'all are saying. 9-3. Let's go. O-line MVP tonight. That's right. Also, if anyone hasn't done this already, go out and look at the Bears Good, Better, Best video. Man, Ben Johnson goes tarps off, no shirt, and gives everyone free hot dogs. So just so everyone knows, I just want to make sure everyone that listens to this show is in on why he took his shirt off, because you're going to probably have to explain it to a Packer fan or just anyone that's not a Bears fan, where it's just the Wiener Circle. As we know, they gave out the free hot dogs, and they've just been saying hey, Ben, if you take off your shirt, we'll do, free hot dogs. So that just the fact that Ben Johnson literally goes, and one more thing, free hot dogs, just rips the shirt off. Just awesome. It's just, and then everyone just loses it. And that's the thing, is that you saw the day before we watched the Detroit Lions, that offense pitter patter. And the best way that I would describe it is, I feel like everyone that listens to this show is a very important person inside of their company, right? We're all, right? I just assume we're all great at our jobs. It's if you left your job right now And it's like, how does someone fill in for you? And there was one thing that there was a job that I had that I do a lot of consulting work and other things like that. And a lot of times I'll have to put like, here's kind of what you got to do moving forward. And this is what you got to do. And with my previous job, it's like I did a lot of the work, and then I would always be like, okay, here's how you guys have to keep it up to date. And when you would give that out to someone, a lot of times they're like, well, I'm not you. I know what I should be doing, and I'm reading off the sheet of like what you said I should do, but I don't understand it. And that's what it felt like when you're watching the Lions, is like you could see Dan Campbell, and it looks like he's got that the notes that someone gave him during offboarding, and then he's like, well, it says that we should call this run play, and it just didn't work. And that's what it feels like. It feels like the Lions just don't actually know what they're doing. And it feels good because we got the guy. We have him. And we know that he's good in the locker room. We know that he's consistent with everything that he does. We know that he's got the experience of play calling. And we know, so I know like he's not Matt Nagy. And I just want to kind of like call that out, because Matt Nagy only had like 6 months play calling experience, or like 6 weeks of it. And the thing is, when things got bad, he didn't know how to handle it. Ben, he knows how to handle it. What happened to our penalties? We were like number 1 in penalties. He's like, I'm going to fix this. And he fixed it. And he put it on the players. He was able to kind of lead that and made it on the players. And then boom, the running game was not getting going. And I'm going to bring up Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy, the running game never got going, and it never did. With Ben Johnson, they fixed that after the bye week. And there's all these little things that we're able to just keep moving and keep growing with all this stuff. Man, it just feels great. So let's see what else is out there. But yeah, Tempest saying work today as a postal Santa, and just watch the highlights and locker room celebration. Right. So good. We got our Dookie out there, bear down. And he said after Swift got brought down on one-on-one with the third down, he didn't let the first touch bring him down the rest of the game. Amen. He really did it. Like after that, he was like, you know what? I'm not going to go down. We got Matt. What's good? He's saying Grok. Yeah, I forgot Grok. Bear down. Yeah, Ozzy, we got some stuff out there with that. We got Jedi. Better. Yeah, good, better, best. Let's go. Yeah, great stuff. And two, yeah, like Drax brought this up last year. It just like today was like a great day because we had, it's the 1-year anniversary from when the Bears fired their first ever head coach in Matt Eberflus. 1 year later, we're 9-3, looking front door of the playoffs. We're just sitting there like, all right, come on. It's like what? 1 win? We just need like what? 1 win or 2 wins or something like that. Like it's looking very promising. And even then, it's like we look really, really good. We're looking good. We're looking like a team. The past couple wins have been more and more team wins rather than just like, you know what? If we got 6 turnovers and the offense kind of sputtered, right? More and more team wins. That's how it feels. And then 2, you had, it's the 1-year anniversary, and they showcased this because they got to show the double doink. This is the team that we played in the playoffs, and they beat us on a double doink going against Matt Nagy and that team. It's like it's a beautiful, poetic, turn the page, keep moving. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, like Drax said, is Brad? Yeah, you can tell I'm feeling good about this. I'm feeling good. This feels great. So do I turn it down a little bit? I'll turn it down a little bit because I do have to talk about this, right? I want everyone to know. As you could tell, I am not a hater. I love this. Caleb didn't have the best performance because I've been avoiding that. 17 of 36, 154 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 2 sacks, right? I don't fully blame him. He still was able to get away from the sack a lot. That was something that was big. But also, now that I kind of switch over to this, we have the interception. I don't necessarily put that on Caleb. It's a screen. I do want to rewatch it. And something that I do also want to watch is there like a tell that the Bears are doing of some sort that's like triggering like, hey, we're doing a little screen pass. But yeah, like it just, and like Taco Man said, it was it was very windy. So you got to factor that into it. But yeah, Caleb with his worst completion percentage over expected at negative 15%. So that's something that just, yeah, like not the greatest when you look down the field. You're talking about plus over 13 yards when he was doing the targets. Had only one completion out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 for 8 past 13 yards. It looks like in that one pass. And I want to say this, right? Caleb ends up throwing that dot to Cole Kmet and also wanting to win, smelling blood and going, you know what? I'm going to take this and throw it in. Just beautiful, awesome decision by him. Beautiful pass by him. Like, you could tell that he's like, we're going to win this game. And that just that's an alpha move right there. That's a leader move right there. The fact that he was able to do that and complete it, that's a big time throw. That was great. So was it his best performance? No. But I think that the end of the throw and then him just being able to escape was great. And the fact that we were able to get the ground game going, awesome. So now we're going to be, it's December now, right? Or it's going to be December. The cold, we have to just definitely brace for that. And I know that that's something that we've brought up on this show, or like a lot of y'all have brought up, just with the cold, right? How is that going to affect this passing game? But let's keep going. And then also, yeah, that's right. Matt saying too, I forgot about getting the D line to jump. That was cool. And the little finger guns with it as well. Love that at the end. But yeah, offense looking good. And also too, yeah, Tempest saying too, yeah, we need to be better with the like button. That's right. Drax has it out there. Yeah. So we're second seed in the NFC North. Make sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe out there on YouTube. But let's keep this train a-moving, shall we? Let's talk a little bit about this defense. So this defense, this is the first time that we've gotten back our boys, Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon. And we saw this defense play differently. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles also, they have a little bit more, we knew about the whole stuff with the play caller and everything like that. And, some people were thinking, well, maybe they were going to come back and, blow us out of the water and try to, really kind of mount this, hey, look, our offense can do something. But they didn't. They end up, 230 passing yards, a lot of that kind of coming in garbage time, 87 yards on the ground, and it just didn't work. It didn't work for them. And I also want to kind of call this out too, because if anyone kind of brings up the offensive coordinator piece, you can also bring up that the Eagles last week Eagles last week lost to Dallas, but Dallas also just beat Kansas City. And then the week before that, they beat Detroit. They beat Green Bay, right? So when your Packer friends tell you, or Packers or Lions friends say, well, their offensive coordinator's bad. And then you could be like, well, we put up 24. Packers, you put up 7. Detroit, you put up 9. So look at that. Who's better now? So that's the thing. And the other pieces too, what else is out there? Also, Ron, that's right. Happy birthday, good sir. Forgot about that, Ron. Yeah. Yeah, Ron will be legally able to drink now. Yeah, now you'll finally be able to watch the previous All 22 stuff. No. I know you're not turning 21, but we'll pretend like you're turning 21 on the show, man. But happy birthday to you, Ron. Thank you again for all the support that you give the show, man. And also thank you for doing the Lord's work by pestering other NFC North chats out there. So let's talk a little bit about this defense. But the one thing I want to talk about too is I haven't even necessarily discussed the injury impact. And the reason why I want to talk about this is, first off, I saw up there in the chat, Billings going down with a concussion. Billings, the reason why I chuckle is I just pictured him running after the quarterback and just not being able to get after him. I thought that Billings had a pretty good game. I saw him just make a pretty decent impact, and he hasn't been the Andrew Billings that we're so used to, but goes down with the concussion. So my guess probably won't be out there next week, just because it's usually over a week in order for a concussion to clear the protocol. But the other piece too is, like we talked about with the defensive backs. And the thing that I thought was interesting was, they they had their own way of kind of playing them out there. So I'm just loading up snap counts. First off, from the offense, because I know we love kind of hearing about this. There's an 87 total snaps out there. DJ Moore had 79. Rome had 70. Then Cole Kmet, 58. Colson Loveland, 51. DeAndre Swift, 46. Luther Burden with 44. And Olamide Zaccheaus with 24. Monangai with 39. And Durham Smythe with 22. And Theo Benedict with 2. The other piece, too, that I want to break down is also this defense. So from the defensive side of the football, we saw CJ Gardner-Johnson play every single snap. Same thing with Nashawn Wright, Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, and also DeMarco Jackson. The other players that got snaps, so that was all 54 snaps. But what we saw was Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson kind of come in and out. Now, I know towards the end of the game, they just didn't put them out there just because games kind of won. Don't put those guys out there. Kyler Gordon with 36 reps and Jalen Johnson with 33. And I think for me, I like that they did this. You put them out there. You saw kind of the impact that they were able to make. And the other thing that I really liked about it too is you saw them make an impact. Then you were able to just kind of take them off. And now you have this extra long, larger, mini bye that you have going on where you're going to be able to rest Kyler, rest Jalen, and get them for the Packer game. And what we saw was, I thought Kyler Gordon played well. There was a couple little snaps, like when they sent him on a blitz one time. I just thought it was a perfect play. It was like third down. You had Kyler on the blitz. He gets picked up by the running back, but then he spins right off of him. And you're like, corners don't do that. The fact that he has pass rush moves as a defensive back, you don't see. But that's the difference between Kyler and some other defensive backs. And then you have Jalen, who then ends up swatting it down. And this is the thing that gets me really excited, because this is kind of it feels like this defense is coming back, even though that the linebackers, we know Edmonds is going to be out for a while. We know that TJ Edwards, hopefully he comes back after this bye. But you're seeing in the middle, DeMarco Jackson's playing better than I feel like you saw Noah Sewell play. I think that DeMarco Jackson becomes a fixture. I think that he becomes the middle linebacker. If everyone comes back besides Tremaine Edmonds, I think you have TJ Edwards out there and you have DeMarco Jackson out there. And then you say, Sewell, you're the Sam linebacker, because DeMarco Jackson's playing great. He's playing well. There was a couple snaps that just, yet again, first glance on Prime Vision, that I thought he was a touch late, but still, you're talking about a special teamer that is thrusted into a starting lineup to go against Saquon Barkley and the Philly offensive line. And I just think that he's played pretty well. So that's my feeling. But yeah, that's my feeling on that. But yeah, just going through to Amen Ogbongbemiga, only 28 reps at linebacker. And the reason why I also want to call that out too is they kind of did what we were kind of talking about on this show. They really played CJ Gardner-Johnson as almost as a small linebacker, which is bold. It's a bold move to do something like that, because I'm actually going through this and you really didn't see. Yeah, Daniel Hardy only played 3 snaps, so he really didn't even play out there. So they truly did make CJ Gardner-Johnson that weak side linebacker, the weak side linebacker. DeMarco Jackson was your starting middle linebacker. And then 2, yeah, you're looking at it. I'm looking at it as well. Amen Ogbongbemiga, he kind of came in and obviously played some linebacker, but it's just a good, just interest. I love how they shifted things around, but it just shows when you have CJ Gardner-Johnson and you have Kyler coming back and you have Jalen, there's a lot that you can do with this defense. You can run a lot more of those, just so many different arrangements. And Nashawn Wright right now too, I want to just call out, Nashawn Wright's playing. He's balling right now. And this is another week where the initial PFF grade, 71, 71.4. And we saw him strip the football. Now he did get beat big with A.J. Brown. He is A.J. Brown and he is Nashawn, he's still Nashawn Wright, but it's still I had a somewhat of a confidence, oh, he picks that off. People have tried that against him, and 4 out of the 5 times he's picked the ball off. And then one of the times A.J. Brown gets it for a touchdown. I'm fine with that. So I'm more than fine with that completely. So But let's see what else is out there. Let's see. I saw cheese curds, and my Wisconsin brain just immediately like locked onto that. It's just what I have. Let's see. Ron saying I need a B-Day cake tomorrow and a big C on it. I like that. Yeah. I agree with Drax. You got to put FGB on it. That'd be great. Tempest saying, yeah, Pennsylvania. Oh, I agree with Tempest. Like a good Portillo's birthday. Yeah, like if you're outside of Chicago for sure. Like I don't know, anyone from Chicago, like I've heard that like there's more of a stigma against Portillo's now, like from people from Chicago. Obviously, I live in Wisconsin. I know like most people in this chat are actually not from Chicago. But dude, I love Portillo's. I like for my birthday, I will actually get deep dish pizza because I also like deep dish pizza. Which also might also confirm the whole thing of like, I'm not actually from Chicago. So I'm probably just confirming that stereotype that I like Portillo's. I love Portillo's and I love deep dish pizza. And chocolate cake shake. Yes. You know, it shrinks the amount of birthdays you can have after you finish off a chocolate cake shake. But yeah, it's good stuff. So let's see. So let's actually talk about this defense. Like I said, they had different arrangements that they were kind of throwing at us. But at the end of the day, we walked away with no sacks. And we walk away with 0 sacks. But we had 7 total pressures. 1 by Bill, 1 by Austin Booker, 1 by Chris Williams, and 1 by Javon Dexter, 1 by CJ Gardner-Johnson, 1 by Grady Jarrett, and 1 by Montez Sweat. And I got to say, too, I just felt like the defensive line, for what they're going against one of the best lines out there, I thought that they were doing well. I thought that they were generating some decent pressure. I thought that they were getting close in on him. And he was also getting the ball out fast. In 2.5 seconds was around the average. The guy was playing, like, I thought that this defense was playing great. And when you're seeing, yet again, when you insert a lockdown corner, that still does not appear to be 100%. But when you're just putting someone like him out there, it's a different defense. It's just a different vibe. And us getting him back and Kyler back going against the Packers, man, I'm excited to see what we could potentially do because I feel like things are starting to click. And I think that the crazy part is it's like, defense is starting to click. The running game starting to click. The pass blocking starting to click. A lot of that stuff has already been clicking, but it's clicking more and more and more. And I think like the biggest thing was when we started the season, to me, the only thing that looked good was the passing game. Running game wasn't good. Defense was bad. Like the only thing that looked good in my mind was the passing. And now it's like, that we needed to kind of take a step forward, which is like kind of cool. It's back to Bears football, but defense working in the same direction. That's what I'm feeling with this. So, but yeah, it's good stuff. It's very, very good stuff. I'm trying to think of anything else from this defensive side of the football. Loading up my other piece. Oh yeah, Kevin Byard, great at football. And I don't know if I think I heard this from ESPN 1000. I believe it might have been it might have been Kaplan, might have been Cronin, not sure, but all I know is from ESPN 1000. They were kind of mentioning that that it sounds like around Hallis Hall that Byard's probably going to get an extension. Like when that will actually happen, we don't know. But man, he deserves it. Just he's been a leader out there. Last year I thought that he was good. But then this year, it's just, he's a leader. He's someone that's really just showcasing his skills. He had some excellent tackles today. And that's where something that I'm like, okay, when's this actually going to get done? Because to me, I think that now is the time, like, you give this man an extension. You show he's a leader. He is someone that has proven it. He's someone that loves Chicago now. He's someone that, like, you could tell he's kind of found this as a home. And I know him and Brisker get along really well. Now, Brisker, I'm not 100%. Like, I love Jaquan Brisker. I love Jaquan Brisker, the person, everything like that. I think it comes down to dollars because you have so many other contracts that you have out there. I do think that it's more of a decision that has to be made. But Byard, to me, no brainer. You bring him back. And you bring him back. You put him on the team. Now, do you have to do this right now? I think the Bears have typically done something like that. So that's my feeling. And yeah, so and other things with defense, I actually did not even check my phone. I was like, why am I getting my phone out? Oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to see if I had any other notes. Yeah, the roughing the passer from Javon, that was dumb. Yeah, I jotted down a couple little plays from Caleb that there was people open, just kind of ignored, and then just kind of kept moving. So didn't love that. But yeah, just good game. Now, the other piece, too, we got to talk about the special teams review as well. And the thing that I want to just break down with the special teams is it was good. And yet again, I thought that this was another week where Hightower stepping up. This is the second week in a row. I felt the kick returns were being stopped. Only 23 yards per kick return. Great. Fantastic. Great stuff with this. And then you're talking about punt returns, 9 yards on a punt return. Great. And then you're talking about Torrey Taylor. I thought Torrey Taylor, solid game, but I felt like their punter wasn't doing as great as I kind of thought. But also, yeah, we saw their kicker, Jake Elliott, 1 of 2. Cairo, 1 for 1 and kicking 3 extra points correct, right up the uprights. Jake Elliott also missing the extra point too. And then the other piece as well, like Devin Duvernay, 12 yards for his return. And then Josh Blackwell, someone that I still don't love that he's back there, but man, he was averaging 29 yards per kick return. Just like to see that we're seeing special teams step up, also recovering a onside kick rather than it running into somebody. Just Bears stepping up. Great stuff that we're seeing just from this team. It's exciting times. But let's see what else y'all are saying out there. And Drax saying, good, keep hearing that Brady wanted Ben Johnson. Yeah, I'm so glad that we have him. And then Tempest say it too. Byard for the right money is an extension. Yeah, Brisker I think is more up in the air for sure. Oh yeah, Dunze getting the onside. Yeah, Dunze got the onside. Dunze too. It's let me see how many targets he got. That whole him and Caleb, they need to hang out more together because it feels like they're just off. 2 of 6 when targeting Rome. At the very beginning of the year, like we said, that was on. Now after this game, it's now less than 50% when targeting Rome. And I didn't even talk about this. Luther and Colston continue to just look great. We saw Colston Loveland on that 4th down. Just get open, beat his man. That's what the man does. And 2, something that I love is I love seeing Cole Kmet get involved. I know that he doesn't have any guaranteed money, so you can cut him and stuff like that. But what we're seeing is we're running the football. And when you can run the football and you have Cole Kmet as your true inline tight end, and then you have Colston Loveland who can play outside and play inline and do stuff like that. That's the thing that's I like about it. And I like that he's able, we're seeing Cole, Luther, Colston really play well. Now, the big question to me is the people on the outside. DJ Moore, 5 targets, 2 catches. Rome, 6 targets, 2 catches. For some reason, when he's targeting the outside, it sails a little bit. And yeah, a lot of those things out to Rome, a lot of those are uncatchable. I don't put a lot of that on Rome, just because a lot of those are uncatchable. So that's something that we need to see that connection back. We need to see that connection going strong. But it's nice to see Caleb when he's throwing it to the people closer to him. We're seeing that stuff work out. Luther Burden, there was that little slip up. Now, it seemed like the grass was bad. It seemed like whatever Soldier Field's grass used to be got shipped over there. But yeah, and also I agree with Taco Man too. Caleb's footwork, yeah, does need to be improved upon. We saw a couple little weird throws with that, and they also kind of called it out too. But yeah, but let's keep on going and let's talk about MVP. So who is your MVP? Who are you giving it out to? So in the locker room, the Chicago Bears gave out game balls to the offensive line, which this is the best, good, better, best in my opinion, because Nashawn Wright should have gotten it the past couple of weeks just because, what he was able to do and other things like that. And it was awesome that he got it. It was great that he was able to get get the game ball. And like Ben Johnson said, he's like, this has been a long time coming. And he's the one that stripped the football, got the ball out, and had that heads up play. That was great. And then you saw the offensive line get it where it's like, yeah, one of these weeks, the offensive line needed to get it. And when he said 2 game balls, I know probably a lot of us were like, running backs, right? You're giving it out to the running backs. And then when he was talking about the running game, I'm glad because it felt like Swift and Monangai got their flowers on the broadcast, right? They were able to eat that amazing looking sandwich. If you saw at the end of the day, like that amazing sandwich, they were able to eat that. They were able to sign their names on the helmet. They were able to get their, like 10 minutes of fame, like with the interview. And I just love that they brought in the offensive line to have the discussion. And really this line has played great. And I still stand by this, right? And I'm always nervous because there's always that regression to the mean when you're talking about a player like Jonah Jackson. But Jackson's played well. He's played really, really well in this offense. He's really he's been shockingly good to me because he didn't play this well last year. He didn't even play this well like for Detroit. And that's where, you usually have that regression back to the mean, but he's playing hot right now. He's playing very, very well. And the good thing about offensive line play, something that shows that allows a lot of progression is continuity. And it seems like we have this unit. Like I said, Ozzy's been playing well and he's playing at a competent level right now. There's still a lot that he needs to learn, but it takes 2 years at least to be able to play the offensive line position. So let's keep on going there. I digress. Let's get into the MVB. I see Swift and Monangai, Wright, Dahlman, Tooney out there. We got lots and lots of stuff. But what I always like to kind of break down is I always just like to break down who kind of gets it. We were kind of talking about the offense. I don't think any receivers necessarily deserve it. The running backs, obviously, you got Monangai, you got Swift. It's hard to just give it to one of those guys. But then when you flip over to the defense, Kevin Byard with the interception too. The dude just tracked it like crazy. Like he tracks it, gets it, and oh man. It I don't want to give it to one of the running backs because I always give it out to one person, then one is the backup. The running backs played great though. My gosh. I partially just want to give it to Drew Dahlman because I thought Dahlman had a great game. The way that he was able to move people around and everything like that, the point of attack, being able to shift. I'm going to give it to Dahlman. I'm going to give my game ball to Drew Dahlman. To me, I feel like the easy would be I'd probably give it Swift, or I'll give out pairs. I'll cheat the system because I think Swift had the best game. I think honestly Swift had the best game out there, and then Monangai had another great game. But then you had the line. And I think my game balls, I'm going to give one to Drew Dahlman because I thought, I'm giving it to the center. I also thought too, there was a lot of times that he really, really held up well. And you're going against these giant guys. I thought that he played great. Tooney probably played better just knowing Joe Tooney. But I'm going to give it to Dahlman, especially since you're talking about the quarterback of the line and getting everybody in the right spots. And then my backup, my always secondary one that I do, I'm going to give it to Kevin Byard. I felt like when he made the play on the back end, but then also he had some really good wrap up tackles. In open, it was there was a screen or a short pass, just wraps up. I think it was Devontae Smith or something. Wraps him up, brings him down. I thought that he played great. And just hats off to how he performed. And then obviously running backs line, great stuff there. But man, it feels good to be 9-3. If you're feeling good after this too, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live, because we'll be going live next week on Wednesday to preview the Chicago Bears versus that team in the North, the Green Bay Packers, right? To the fight for first place in the NFC North and a lot on the line. It's going to be epic. So enjoy the rest of the weekend. Have a great time. Also, if you're looking for Christmas presents, buy it right now on Black Friday. Save some money. But with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
got some nice long hair and